All right, ladies. So today we are doing the first in a series of prepping for 2023. Surprisingly enough, it is time now. We are coming to the end of the month and we're very rapidly moving towards the end of the year. And one of the things that I've just discovered as a business owner and entrepreneur is that getting ahead of thinking about your business strategy should always be a priority. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't take the time to plan. They fly by the seat of their pants, and it's one of the main reasons why they're not as successful as they could be, and it may even cause their business to fail. So I was, when I was much younger, I've always been an entrepreneur, but I learned some really hard lessons that it's really cool to say, oh, I'm going to start a business today and let's just try this, and with no planning or anything. And it might last for a day, or it might last for a short while, but eventually it's going to fizzle because you didn't have any strategy behind what you were doing, and you didn't set the business up properly. So we're going to look at business mindset today to get us prepared to create our business strategy plan for 2023. Before we jump into that, I wanted to check in with you all because I wasn't here last week and I did a recording for you on dealing with sales objections. So who all was actually on that call last week to do the sales objections? Rachel, were you on?
Yes, I was on, and Marty and I were on, and Amanda Gleason was on,
Okay.
and Crystal was on. So it was
Okay.
a smallish group.
Okay.
But Marty, and so we didn't break out into breakout rooms. We just did it as one big group, and I played the character of somebody Marty was having a conversation with. She did a great job.
Good. So I'm just wondering, in terms of the objections, some of the answers that you were given to talk through those situations, how did that work out?
That actually worked out really well because it gave me a little bit of character to play with. And she did a great job in listening to my answers. Like, I made a lot of comments about money being tight. So she didn't sell me her platinum package. She started off with her midline package of 5 looks. And I actually asked that during our feedback session or feedback time. I said, I was kind of surprised she didn't because I know her. I roughly know her packages. I know she offers a platinum. And she's like, well, you didn't need that. Like, you were starting off slow. And I'm like, that's great listening to their needs.
Yeah.
No, Amanda can say more about it. Is she on here?
Yep, I'm here. I
Okay.
just sent my email off so I can give a little bit of feedback. I think, Rachel, what you said is absolutely true. And what was cool about how we did it was I was able to give them like real-time feedback in the moment, and then Marty could adjust and continue on. But they used 2 or 3 objections, and Marty, I think she did a great job of responding to it. I felt like she really demonstrated she understands how women think about their wardrobe. So she found it helpful. I found it interesting to watch and help them go through it. And then we had Rachel run through a new marketing pitch that she had just gotten at a sales call. So that was, I think, helpful for her too.
Good.
Yeah. My camera's not on. There we go.
There we go. It's kind of, you come into focus now.
There we go.
Okay. So how comfortable, I mean, it sounds like you sounded pretty comfortable with some of what I call the autoresponder to the objections. I mean, how likely is it, or let me back that up. Which objection strategy would you be most likely to use when you're dealing with somebody? So this is really just kind of a test to see what objections you really remember.
Okay, sorry, I was switching from phone to
Yep,
recording. Oh, and I was on camera, sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
So
You repeat that?
the question was about which objections are you most likely to use? Which autoresponders are you most likely to use? That's what
Yeah.
you meant?
Well,
I like,
I'm using those interchangeably. It's really objection strategies, but sometimes I'll call it autoresponders too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Objection strategies. Go ahead, Rachel.
I liked the one that talked about investing in yourself.
Mhm.
And if you don't do this today, how much longer are you going to put up with the pain?
Right.
Something like that.
I would definitely agree with that because I think that speaks to the heart of why this person came to you,
Mhm.
and hope, kind of triggers that emotional response of, I really need to do this now. But the other one I really like is, I don't know what it's called, but if not now, when? So basically you keep kicking the can down the road. It's never going to be a perfect time,
Right.
so if not now, when?
Right. Yeah, those are good. Those are good things to say. And it really requires you to have some courage to even say that, because we tend to like harmony and we don't want to push back. And a lot of times our response is, okay, I understand, and even so, I will say about Marty offering her gold package instead of the platinum. I would challenge her to still let that person know about the platinum package, and then say, this may not be the right package for you right now, but I wanted you to know what, if you were to get the whole thing, this is what it would look like. It is amazing in my own experience, whenever I'm the one that puts the limiting belief on the person. When they really want something, they will do, they will get it. And then you find out all of a sudden they have the money sitting in the bank, right?
Well, that's a really good point, because what Marty said was, well, Rachel, because you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't need 14 outfits. You only need 7, or whatever the number was.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point, Angie, maybe Rachel wants 2 weeks worth of outfits she doesn't have to think about,
Right.
So, yeah.
And maybe she's not planning on being a stay-at-home mom. Maybe she's planning
Right.
on getting out, and starting to get some visibility or go on the job search. And she recognizes
Or
that she's gotta have
volunteers as her job,
Yeah.
So you got to be professional for that, perhaps.
That's right. Or 14 looks for Sunday school. Who knows?
Yeah, that's like 3 months of okay. That's a
Okay.
lot of Sunday school teaching.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to check in on those. Today is actually our 4th Wednesday when we typically do sales conversations, but because I had to be out of town, I switched that around. So we're not doing sales conversations today. We're going to go ahead and go into this next series that is going to be important. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Well, before I dive into that, does anybody have any questions or challenges that you want to mention to get some coaching on, hot seat coaching on?
Is Calendly free?
There's a freemium account. You can get like a
One.
30-minute, one link. But if you have like different aspects of your business, like you've got one that's for memberships, one that's for product sales, or one for just general consult. I mean, if you want more of that, then you have to pay.
Okay.
Okay,
I have
Amanda,
something really quick, Angie.
Okay.
I'm working with a prospect right now, and it's a contact from years ago at OrthoIndy, and he's doing a startup. He wants an HR package. So we've been talking about different things. There's some nuances to this startup that are maybe unique. And so I was prospecting with him. So we were going through that process, and he's not made a decision yet because it's dependent on a particular piece of information that will change kind of how the contract looks without getting into all the detail, basically. But what I've been doing in the meantime, I'm helping him figure out that piece of information. So I went to him yesterday and I said, hey, here's what I found out. I feel like we've passed over from prospecting conversations to I'm really providing some consultative services.
Yes.
Ideally, I'd like to engage in a contract for that. If I'm happy to help you continue, I would love to help you work this out. So I did it in a real positive way without it sounding, I guess,
Look,
negative.
you're taking advantage of me.
Yeah. And he responded well to it. I think what I'm struggling, and he hasn't decided yet whether he wants to engage me on an hourly rate for that. But what I'm struggling with is I'm in process with some of these resources I've gone out to find for him, and some of that's starting to come in. So I'm feeling like I should just hold that information until he signs a contract, and then maybe even bill for some of that time that I'm working for him right now. Does that sound fair if I were to do that? And even I haven't told him that. I didn't tell him that in my proposal because I didn't expect these things to come through so quick.
Well, I would just, so in the proposal, did you say that as part, that you would go out and find these resources?
Well, as part of the proposal basically was, I outlined kind of what consulting service he was looking for and what I could provide for him. So yes, I did outline the scope. And then it's just basically an hourly rate rather than a project fee, because I don't know how much time it's going to take. So I did tell him that this is what I would charge for. And like I said, those recommendations are now coming in. I don't want to stop that train because it's taken a while to get these people to respond to me. So I want to continue to work that. So I'm trying to figure out if he continues to drag his feet. No, he's not really dragging his feet. If he drags his feet about signing a contract for consultative services, I'm feeling like I should not share the information that I'm getting with him.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, without knowing the whole situation, so I'm kind of stabbing in the dark here, but I would say, I've gotten resources together, they're ready to go. So if once you're ready to sign the contract, then we can go ahead and move forward with those. But just know that I found those and they're in place. Or
well, that's a good way of saying that. So of just saying, it's going to be worth your time to invest in this. Is not, and this really wouldn't be that much money, quite honestly. So I don't know why he just didn't sign it right away. But
because some people have trouble making decisions.
yeah. So okay, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question right quick.
Sure.
I was in training yesterday on the phone with someone for like 8 hours, and we kind of got into what we do on the side. And I was letting her know that I did have an IV hydration business, and she was just so thrilled about it, and she wants to learn all about it. And and she asked me how I learned about it, where I got my information, things like that. I told her there's consultations that I paid for. I went to a class, and I've done a few consultations, but for some reason I didn't tell her, like, hey, I mean, you can consult with me. I almost felt like, well, maybe I should give her the information since she is training me, but she's getting paid by our job to train me. And she's super sweet. I mean, I don't mind giving away some information. I don't want to get in the habit of doing that. But I was wondering, should I turn that into a sale, or should I, out the goodness of my heart, share other people who she could consult with?
Do you want to be a mentor, or do you want to be a businesswoman?
A businesswoman, a mentor to some, but in my new role, she's going to be my mentor. One of them.
I would be inclined to see if she would be interested in trying your services. I mean, that would be the route that I would go.
She's a practitioner. She wants to start her own IV hydration business. So she wants all the, information is, I mean, it costs me money, to figure it all out.
Okay. So thank you for that clarification, because what I would say is I would just stop offering all the information. I would just keep it. It sounded like you already just gave her a general overview.
Mm-hmm.
I learned just coming out of the gate when I started my consulting and coaching business. I had someone that was super sweet. And she wanted to collaborate with me on a particular program that I created called Artitudes. And anyway, I thought, oh, well, here's somebody we can collaborate on this. She took my entire thing, copied it, and started doing workshops with
Oh,
it
wow.
and charging people. So because of that, before I tell anybody any proprietary information about my business, if I'm going to collaborate with them on anything, there's a non-disclosure, non-compete that I would sign. So if you're willing to reveal all that information and have that person sign that, and you think that there might be a collaboration, then before telling anything about your business, anything that you wouldn't tell to just a client that you're inviting, to try your services, I wouldn't go any further than that. 'Cause
Okay.
people are
It's in
real
another
picky.
state. She's in Ohio, so
Mhm.
okay.
So I don't know if that, sounds a little bit.
No, it sounds like, yeah, it sounds like a businesswoman, I'm building the business, and, I did let her know I paid, I paid $1,000 class. I paid for
Right.
consultation, 250 for 30 minutes. I paid, so, I mean, I am going to tell her when I follow, because she wants resources. So I honestly told her it's a community of
Mhm.
nursepreneurs, and you just have to kind of become a part of the community
Yeah.
and learn it that way. So maybe I'll send her a few people via social media to
Yeah,
follow.
that's a good
But so yeah.
Well, and it's all about time management too, Ariane. You are a woman who is extremely busy. You have a bunch of plates you've been spinning. You're trying to offload those, and every minute counts for you. So I would. It's like it's kind of like, what is that? Covey's time management assessment, right? You have
Big rocks in first.
well, it's really, let me show you something here. I don't know if you're familiar with Covey's time matrix, but basically what you have here, you have 4 quadrants of time. You've got the urgent and important. Urgent and important. Here you've got not urgent, but important. I don't understand these new whiteboards. I haven't taken the time to learn them. So over in this quadrant, you've got, come on. Over in this quadrant, you have urgent but not important. And then over here, we've got not urgent, not important. So the way that you spend your time, the urgent and important are usually your crises, the things that you can't control, that are absolute crises that you have to drop everything to do. You know those things are going to happen. Down here, urgent but not important. It's really important and urgent to somebody else, but it's not really that big of a deal to you. So that could be someone getting you, it's urgent to them, and they need you to find a certain document for them. And it's not your job to do. You're wasting your time doing that. Not urgent, not important. That's just like crazy things like surfing social media where you're just draining your brain. And then up in this quadrant up here, not important but urgent, That's what we're getting to today. We're focusing, this isn't urgent to figure out your business strategy and your mindset, but it is important and it will set the stage. So if you think about the time that you're spending to give that nurse practitioner all of those resources, what quadrant do you think that activity falls into?
Urgent, but not important to me, urgent for her.
Right. And so it's really about prioritizing your time, where you're going to be intentional and where you're going to focus your energy. And people, they'll be pulling on you all the time. I know I've had to really just crack down and maintain some serious boundaries and protect my time in order to get the important things done, the strategy done. So just think about that the next time something like this pops up. And it's not to say that you won't ever do that. Just think about this season right now. Where do you need to be spending your time and what's taking away from that time? And that will help you to prioritize.
Right. Okay.
I always heard it stated, the not urgent but important is taxes in February. But urgent and important is taxes on April 14th.
Yeah. Yeah. And in that case, you could have prevented that.
Mhm.
But the fact is that you got to get it done and there's no getting around it.
Right.
And so Amanda shared a link about the quadrants, which is a great resource. I still use this in my mind whenever I'm making decisions about how I need to spend my time.